Millionaire in disguise gets rejected until a kind maid changes everything. The rain fell softly over the city that evening, painting the streets in shimmering reflections of golden streetlights. Inside the grand lobby of the Royal Evermont Hotel, one of the most prestigious in the country, guests in designer gowns and tailored suits glided past marble columns, laughter echoing beneath crystal chandeliers. But standing just inside the entrance, unnoticed and ignored, was a man in worn-out shoes, a faded jacket, and a face shadowed by exhaustion. His name was Benjamin Clark. To the world, he was a self-made billionaire, owner of a global hospitality empire. But tonight he had chosen to walk in disguise, tired of the masks people wore around him, hungry not for fine dining, but for something far rarer, genuine humanity. At the reception desk, the sharply dressed receptionist barely looked up before waving him off. "Sorry, sir, we don't serve guests who aren't properly dressed. Please try the cafe down the street." Benjamin didn't argue. He simply turned away, his stomach growling, his spirit heavier than his coat. But just as he stepped toward the exit, a soft voice stopped him. "Excuse me, sir. Are you all right?" He turned to see a young woman in a modest maid's uniform. Her name tag read Clara. Her eyes held concern, not judgment. Without waiting for an answer, she gently guided him toward a small table near the back of the dining room. "Wait here," she whispered, then hurried off before he could protest. Minutes later, Clara returned with a steaming plate of roast chicken, vegetables, and warm bread. "On the house," she said with a warm smile. "Everyone deserves a hot meal." Benjamin was stunned. "But the manager—" "Some rules," she said softly, "are meant to be bent for kindness." Over the next hour, Benjamin watched as Clara moved through the dining room, not just cleaning, but seeing people. She comforted a crying child whose ice cream had fallen, refilled an elderly couple's water without being asked, and even offered a tired businessman a clean napkin with a quiet, "You look like you've had a long day." Not once did she expect thanks. Not once did she complain, even when a snobbish guest snapped at her for hovering. Then came the confrontation. The hotel manager, Mr. Harrow, stormed over, his face red with indignation. "Clara, who is this man? You know the dress code." Before Clara could speak, Clara stepped forward. "He's a guest who needed a meal, and he's done nothing wrong. If kindness is against the rules, then maybe the rules need to change." The dining room fell silent. Later that night, as Clara finished her shift, she found Benjamin waiting outside the staff entrance. He held out a hand. "Thank you," he said simply. But the next morning, everything changed. The entire hotel staff was called to the grand ballroom. There stood Benjamin Clark in a tailored suit flanked by executives. Gasps rippled through the room as he introduced himself as the owner of the Evermont Hotel Group. "I came here last night not to inspect, but to remember what this business is truly about. And I found it, not in the chandeliers or the fine china, but in the heart of one of you." His eyes found Clara's. "You saw me when no one else did. You offered me dignity when I looked like I had none. In a world obsessed with appearances, you chose compassion." Tears welled in Clara's eyes as Benjamin announced a full scholarship for her to pursue hospitality management at a top university and offered her a new role, Director of Guest Experience for the entire Evermont chain, with a mission to instill empathy, kindness, and human connection in every hotel. "I'm not promoting you because you served me," he said gently. "I'm promoting you because you reminded me, and all of us, what really matters." The room erupted in applause, but Clara, ever humble, simply whispered, "Kindness costs nothing, but it changes everything." In the months that followed, Clara's influence transformed the Evermont experience. Staff were trained not just in service, but in seeing guests and each other as human beings. Complimentary meals became a quiet tradition for anyone in need, and every employee was encouraged to bend the rules for kindness, because rules without heart are just walls. As for Benjamin, he never forgot that rainy evening. He started visiting his hotels in disguise more often, not to test, but to listen. And every time he saw a staff member go the extra mile, he thought of Clara. This story isn't just about a millionaire or a maid. It's about a truth we all carry, that every person you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. And sometimes the smallest act of seeing someone, truly seeing them, can heal a wound you didn't know was there. So, the next time you're tempted to judge by appearances, pause, because greatness doesn't always wear a suit. Sometimes it wears a name tag that says Clara and carries a tray with a warm meal and an open heart. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to ACA Story Tales. Your support helps us bring more stories of hope, kindness, and second chances to millions around the world. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? If you felt moved by this story, your support means the world. Please consider sending a Facebook star gift to help us reach our first 500 and keep sharing stories that heal and inspire. Every star brings us closer to building a community rooted in kindness and second chances. Thanks for watching.